Is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. And yesterday, the January 6th committee issued a statement, had its last public hearing, and decided to refer criminal charges to the Department of Justice against Donald Trump and others for the insurrection on January 6th, 2021. Right? It was a year ago? No, 2 years ago in January. Okay. Phew. Um, it was a terrorist attack on the Capitol, but sure, it's also an insurrection. Um, so the I don't get it. The focus on the media is the fact that it's historic that they've referred these charges, and that it doesn't really have much of a sway on the DOJ, which is true. But and they're talking about what this means about whether or not the GOP is going to continue to support Trump. And I mean, so far, you know, there hasn't been a resounding, uh, you know, call to arms. Well, it's a terrible term of phrase. Um, to rally support around him uh, after this referral, like there was, when the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago and took the classified documents back that he stole that he never should have had. Republicans just went up, oh, they're raiding his private home, blah blah blah. It's like, well, no, he stole classified documents. But this time they don't seem to be rallying around him, calling a witch hunt or doing any of that kind of stuff. They don't really seem to be saying much at all. So I don't know if that's, their passiveness is showing some sort of support for the action. I suppose. We say that silence equals agreement. So I guess I guess nobody really wants to come out that hard against it, because the thing that the January 6th committee did, that no, it doesn't actually have any legal standing with the DOJ. But what they did do is create a whole lot of public record with evidence of what he did wrong. So that does put some pressure on the DOJ, because they'll have to answer to why they are not going to pursue any criminal charges against him. If they don't. But they also just provided a shit ton of evidence. Now, the DOJ already has its own investigation going. Obviously, they've been paying attention to the January 6th committee. But now to have sort of all of that evidence wrapped up together, it strengthens whatever case they're going to bring against him. It just seems highly unlikely that they will be able to come up with a rationale for not bringing charges against him for one of these things. He's still in trouble in Georgia because he clearly tried to fuck with that election results. But the other thing that's happening with him today is the House Ways and Means Committee is deciding whether or not they're going to make his tax returns public, which they fucking better. And they've got 10 days, not less than 10 days to do it. I guess it's 10 days, because once the Republicans take over the committees, it's going to be you got a hard slog. So make Christmas real uncomfortable for Donald J. Trump, and just release his tax records, like, on Monday. Just go ahead and send them out. Or better yet, Friday, so that everyone can talk about it over the Christmas holiday weekend. Anyway, it just looks darker and darker for him. I refuse to feel better about any of it until he's actually on trial, uh, where then I hope he ends up going to jail. Um, it does throw a whole wrench into the whole plan about him running and splitting the Republican Party, which I do want to see that fracture happen, but maybe it can still happen without him because um, it, I don't know the MAGA crowd. I don't know is just not enough to win in the general election. So it's the Republican Party is going to have to decide whether or not they're going to continue with the MAGA crowd and genuflect to them, which Kevin McCarthy seems to be doing. But he's a spineless turd, so that's ridiculous. Um, and I just have a hard time uh, deciding where it's best for this to go. Other than he should be in prison. Um, But his response, as soon as the hearings were over, the televised hearings were over, he posted on his stupid Truth social media but Liz Cheney lost by 40 points. It's so obsessed with the winning and the losing thing um, that, he can't even see how far deep he's in it. But that's okay. I mean, he's always been delusional. So he will claim innocence, until his dying breath. But I don't know. I want to see his tax records, and I want to see some movement. But it would be nice to have that happen before the end of the year because all this is going to change. I don't understand um, how, if the January 6th committee is referring to the ethics committee, and the ethics committee is a 50-50 split. It doesn't matter who controls the House. It is always a 50-50 split. But Kevin McCarthy, assuming he will become the speaker, will be able to appoint the Republicans onto the ethics committee. But Kevin McCarthy is the one being um, uh, is one of the 5 House members that are being referred to the ethics committee for ethics violations. So that to me is a whole giant conflict that you know, I don't think that the GOP is going to care about like that. That should be enough to make them think probably shouldn't be speaker. But they have no shame. So I fear that we're going to lose traction of all of this stuff as the Republicans take over the House and they spend all of their time on Hunter Biden's laptop and his dick pics and investigating Hillary Clinton because why not? Um, and throwing all these distractions of bullshit when there's actual crimes that were committed by the president and people in Congress. So, you know, Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and where the hell are the sex trafficking charges against Matt Gaetz? Ugh. Um, the wheels of justice just turn too fucking slowly.